102.9 Vibration and Frequency. Hello and welcome to the Cosmic Experience of One. This is an awareness expanding course that should be absorbed in order. Like a university course, this course's information builds upon itself, so you would be doing yourself a disservice if you took it in out of order. If you do not watch it in order, you might not comprehend the material, or worse, you will think you fully understood it and walk away with a skewed interpretation. Do yourself a favor and first view 101.1, 101.2, 101.3, and 101.4, which are all in one video that starts with an introduction to this course. Then continue on and viewing the subjects in order. The introduction to this course needs to be taken in first in order to know the nature of this awareness expanding course. Think of this course as a book where you will not understand it fully if you do not read the chapters in order. Chapter 1 being the introduction that is imperative to take in first. So please click on the link in the description section under this video to view the first video. The intelligently conscious love and light energy that is of Source and is projected outward into the cosmos by Source is in constant vibration. This means the very essence in which all in the inner planes and outer planes are immersed in is this love and light vibrating energy. Thus, all beings in the cosmos are composed of love and light energy and are also in constant vibration. The entities that are spheres / planets also vibrate and produce a frequency that can be heard as a tone, which is known as the music of the spheres. Each tone represents a planet's vibratory state. As planets move through the densities they experience, their vibratory state shifts, and so do the beings on the planet. When planets reach their cycle where second density beings can naturally incarnate and come into existence in the physical outer planes, these second density beings are able to do this because of the cultivating frequency the planet produces. This vibration causes a certain geometric orientation to be radiated in the frequency that also cultivates life forms. It may take the second density life forms millions or billions of years to grow to a form and state throughout the sub-densities where they are able to transition to the next density. When the entity that is the planet is ready to experience the next density, it shifts vibration and produces a more comprehensive geometric structure that is radiated throughout the new frequency. The second density life form species a logos selects is cultivated by this new frequency that is produced by the planet's vibration and from the influx of life force energy from the logos that initiates the leap of rapid evolution into third density life forms. This influx of life force energy is provided by the logos / star at the end of each major cycle, but it is most intense at the end of each density's grand cycle. The influx of life force energy, which is not only from the micronova, at the end of each grand cycle provides the stimulation and catalyst for rapid evolution to the next density. It takes approximately 95 years of a life form being constantly exposed to a new frequency for DNA changes to start occurring in the physical body. Being exposed to this new frequency and the influx of the life force energy from the logos is what stimulates the transition from one density to the next. As jumps to a new density take a larger catalyst than what is needed to progress through the subdensities within a density. Thus, the micronova is necessary for the shift to the next density. The shift cannot happen without it. In this way, it is appropriate to embrace the micronova and not fear it. Without the micronova, third density beings would not be able to evolve and transition into fourth density beings. When moving to the next level of education and learning, it is natural for some beings to be excited and others to be anxious or fearful. Like the students who are about to move on campus and start their next educational level, that is university, some are excited and some are anxious or fearful of the coming major change in their lives. Everything works out in the end for the student, and they look back at the anxiousness or fear they had felt and knew they had produced it because the future was unknown and they lacked self-confidence. Like the ape's DNA started rapidly evolving after approximately 95 years, so will it be for human beings' DNA as they start rapidly evolving and transitioning from third density to fourth density beings after the micronova. After life forms are exposed and cultivated by the new frequency produced by the new vibration for approximately 95 years, the rapid evolution quickens greatly and the shift to the next density begins in earnest. The misconceptions derived from human beings' so-called holy material have made some humans believe the shift will be instantaneous in a grand moment of ascension and judgment. This is not the case. The transition does happen rapidly, as we have specified, but not instantly, and there is no judgment and punishment. After the micronova, the positively oriented beings are not separated from the negatively oriented beings, but higher density beings who oversee and guard over this transitional period greatly assist the positively oriented beings so they are not completely subjected to the ways of the negatively oriented beings, who will become even more vicious and erratic due to the new vibration shifting beings closer to the polarity they have chosen. Positively oriented beings will become more positive, and negatively oriented beings will become more negative. Life forms will ride the assisting powerful waves toward their chosen direction. The negatively oriented beings will naturally transition /die one by one till they no longer inhabit the earth, except for a few underground and undersea bases of negatively oriented beings who use temporal fields as a protection to wait out the intense vibratory energy, but they will be dealt with and removed eventually as well. All third density beings, positively and negatively oriented, will transition /die at some point during the rapid evolutionary time period as positive fourth density beings with activated fourth density astral bodies incarnate onto Earth through the typical birthing process through the many human beings with dual activated third and fourth density bodies we have spoken of. It takes a long time for fourth density beings to learn how to become invisible to third density beings, so these early fourth subdensity positive beings will be just as clear to the eye of third density beings as other third density beings and look no different. But their higher vibration may be felt or perceived on a subconscious or conscious level. The third density beings who are not ready to graduate to fourth density yet after transitioning /dying and being harvested will relax and then prepare in the inner planes and eventually incarnate onto a different planet and continue the third density experience until they are ready to graduate. The third density beings who are ready to graduate to fourth density positive after transitioning /dying and being harvested will relax and then prepare in the inner planes and reincarnate onto the earth through the typical birthing process and be fourth density beings with activated fourth density astral bodies. The third density beings who are ready to graduate to fourth density negative after transitioning / dying and being harvested will relax and then prepare in the negative inner planes and eventually incarnate onto a different planet that is a fourth density negative planet. Unlike the potentially mixed third density, the fourth density and higher experience incarnations with their polarity resonating group of positive or negative beings on their own planet rather than both inhabiting the same planet. The fourth density positive polarity beings have their own planet where their states of mind are more in harmony with the natural state of love, joy, and peace. This is the heavenly state of mind that exists on its own planet that has been misinterpreted as being the place called heaven one goes to after death and stays there for eternity. The grand cycle duration for fourth density is approximately 30 million years longer than the grand cycle duration for third density. But beings will eventually graduate to fifth density and continue their journey. Staying anywhere and doing anything in the same way for eternity would become boring. Likewise, the fourth density negative polarity beings do not go to a fictitious place called hell for eternity. Instead, they have their own planet where their state of mind is in disharmony, in a hellish state of mind where spiritual entropy exists. Some of these beings will recognize that they do not prefer such a state of mind and will work towards switching polarities, which they may do starting in the middle sub-densities after approximately 15 million years. After the micronova, your solar system will remain in an area of the galaxy that is highly charged with uplifting energy for approximately 1,000 years. During this time period, Earth and the solar system it resides in will be protected by this uplifting energy, so negatively oriented beings, such as the word shown on screen group, will not be able to enter. This approximately 1,000 years will provide positive fourth density beings on Earth with the time to develop and advance, so at the end of this period they will be prepared and able to deal with the negative beings who will be able to re-enter the solar system. Some beings who resonate closer to the vibration they are moving towards experience DNA changes before the typical average 95 years. As always, we generalize, as there are too many variables to convey due to the complexity of the cosmos. If even a portion of the countless variables throughout this awareness expanding course were attempted to be conveyed, this course would be immensely long, and one would get lost in the details instead of using this course as a guide for their spiritual progression. If this course is not used for one's spiritual progression, it is next to useless, as this is the reason why this course / guide is being offered. The beings who incarnate with dual activated third and fourth density bodies are able to shift from utilizing the third density body to the fourth density body without having to transition / die. The reason for this is so the transition from one density to the next can be done naturally. As this information is absorbed, those beings who are still afraid of transitioning / death are wishing they are one of these dual activated body beings so they can avoid transitioning / death. They still fail to understand that transitioning is natural and a being does it countless times as they advance through the cosmos. One cannot progress through the cosmos without transitioning. Besides, not all the beings with dual activated bodies will make the shift to fourth density without transitioning / dying first, and going to the inner planes before they reincarnate onto the planet in fourth density bodies from the offspring of the dual activated body beings who did make the transition. Approximately half of them will do this. They will incarnate back onto planet Earth just like the third density beings who experienced Earth and are ready to graduate to fourth density positive after harvest time. Both will incarnate as the offspring from the beings with dual activated bodies who did remain on the planet and shifted to fourth density without transitioning/dying. Even these beings with dual activated bodies who remain on the planet will come to an age where they will transition/die and then reincarnate onto planet Earth again. Transitioning/dying cannot be avoided by beings until they reach the seventh density where recycling bodies is no longer necessary. Transitioning is natural and necessary to progress through the densities in the cosmos. We focus on this point because we are aware of the heavy programming of fear of death that human beings are subjected to in order to be manipulated and controlled more easily. We invite you to discard this programming and free yourself of this unnecessary fear. All fear is unnecessary and only blocks one from their potential. The negatives have influenced the highly negatively oriented third density beings to increase the severity of their negative programming and create new programs specifically tailored for the influx of later third subdensity highly positively oriented beings, dual activated body beings, true early fourth subdensity beings, and wanderers. These programs, like all programming, aim at twisting these inherently positive beings to create enough negative polarity so they become neutrally to negatively oriented beings. The highly negatively oriented human beings rely on their engineered broken system, which they have made even more broken and controlling in recent decades, and their programming to twist inherently positive beings toward their team, the negatively polarizing team. They also seek out positively oriented beings, especially wanderers, who have abilities they can capture and utilize for negative polarity if they can deceive and manipulate their targets into working for negatively oriented beings, either knowingly or unknowingly. In cases where it is done unknowingly, compartmentalization is utilized so the being may stay positively oriented and think their work is being utilized for positive endeavors, but due to the compartmentalization, they do not see where and how their work is being utilized. They are not aware it is being used to aid negative polarity. The negatively oriented try to find these positively oriented beings with certain abilities at a young age so they are easier to deceive, manipulate, and mold in their formative years. All of these negative programs have increased in severity and amount to curtail the influx of highly positively oriented beings. Programs through their news and all the many other outlets that produce programming that shapes social conditioning, educational schools turning into propaganda centers, all tactics to increase divisions that lead to fighting and infighting within the planetary collective, adding more harmful chemicals and elements to foodstuffs and the water supply, engineering and releasing more harmful viruses, increasing the intensity of harmful frequencies used for wireless transmissions, adding very harmful chemicals and elements, words shown on screen, for infants and adults, and the dumping of very harmful chemicals into the sky and air, words shown on screen, and others. Some of these programs and tactics adversely affect the negatively oriented human beings themselves who are carrying them out, but they perform them regardless because they are following hierarchical orders from the top that come down from negative fourth or fifth density beings. More recently, these programs that have further increased in severity are the engineering and releasing of very dangerous viruses approximately in late 2019 that were designed to affect the particular DNA of planetary races. If positive higher density beings did not assist to mutate these viruses to a less harmful state faster than how these viruses would have typically mutated, the forced transitioning / killing of human beings would have been increased greatly. When enormous negative measures like this jeopardize the third density experience of a planet, higher density beings are warranted to clandestinely intervene to keep balanced levels of gameplay intact. To counter this positive move, the fourth density negatives influence their negatively oriented third density underlings to increase the severity of two more programs. The increase of harmful words shown on screen on the majority that are loaded with an even greater mixture of very harmful chemicals and elements than has ever been used before in hijack. Words shown on screen. Both these implementations work together for the severe detriment of human beings. In order to restrain healthy discussions about the hijack words shown on screen, the negatively oriented human beings implemented the programming term, quote unquote, words shown on screen. This programming term, as many programming terms and phrases are designed to do, heavily encourages a human being to enter a dualistic debate where there is no middle ground and no healthy discussions. The conversation is effectively over before it has begun. Since beneficial words shown on screen have been proven to be effective for stopping the spread of certain viruses in the past, it helped to assist in the creating of this dualist program where the point of the word shown on screen being hijacked is drowned out and not believed. Words shown on screen that were once beneficial have been hijacked and switched from being beneficial to being extremely harmful due to what is being added to them. Thus, it is healthier to avoid all words shown on screen, including words shown on screen for infants, unless one is absolutely certain it is not tainted, as it is better to contract the viruses the untainted word shown on screen used to stop one from getting than to be injected with extremely harmful and possibly life-threatening hijacked / tainted word shown on screen. This point is evaded when a human being is thrown onto one side or the other of dualism, because the programming tends to stop the individual from the outset at listening to human beings who are attempting to convey the hijacking. Even if the immense and clear evidence is attempted to be shown regarding the hijacking and its effects on humans, the programmed human being tends to not look at it or even consider it. Due to the programming, they think the free-thinking human is saying words shown on screen harmful in any shape or form and have always been harmful. One is either for words shown on screen or against them. There is no middle ground nor intelligent conversations had when the programming is implemented. The catch-all programming phrase, words shown on screen, was used for these two recent increased programs, as well as for a general programming phrase that tends to stop the programmed human from listening to or even looking at or considering the mass of evidence presented by free-thinking human beings about any of the important negatively oriented beings' programs and agendas. Being called a quote-unquote word shown on screen is typically synonymous with being an observant free thinker. Being observant and thinking for oneself are two skills a being must adequately develop to graduate to fourth density positive. The programming to ignore, disbelieve, and possibly ridicule human beings who speak of the harmful effects of the frequency produced by words shown on screen has been spread throughout the negatively oriented beings' programming outlets, especially in movies and TV shows where it is most effective. The frequency that a being is immersed in is critical because the building blocks of everything in the cosmos, love and light energy, is a vibration. Vibrations cause frequencies, but frequencies can influence vibrations. Specific frequencies can induce vibrations in human beings that affect the physical body and emotional states, which also affect the spirit complex, since the mind, body, and spirit are all connected. If a being is constantly immersed in a new frequency for many years, the being's DNA changes, as we have stated. For example, the beings on Maldek were very tall beings due to planetary variables, one being the frequency that was produced by the vibration of the planet. After the so-called royals of Maldek moved off planet to inhabit one of their moons, Mars, it took approximately 95 years for the different frequency produced by the vibration of Mars to start evolving/changing their DNA. After thousands of years of being immersed in this new frequency, as well as being subjected to other variables on the sphere, the very tall Maldek beings reduced greatly in height. Their DNA and physical bodies evolved so drastically that they became a different species than what they had been on Maldek, while the Maldek beings stayed the same. Another example, the frequency that one's planet produces is used in their spacecraft to continue to nurture the beings in the craft when they are away from their planet. Most human beings think they can saturate the air and be immersed in frequencies they produce without it affecting them. The reality is very much the opposite. It has an immense effect on human beings. Harmful frequencies majorly affect the mind-body-spirit complex. Harmful frequencies produce major hindrances on all levels and even changes DNA when experienced long enough. The frequency one is immersed in is very important. We cannot convey this enough or more heavily. Benign frequencies can be used for wireless devices to download/upload information, but the fourth density negative beings influence the third density negatively oriented beings to use harmful frequencies for their internet and other devices that use frequency transmissions. Knowing it would hinder and weaken human beings and make them easier to manipulate and control. Human beings adapted to being bombarded with the harmful frequency band produced by wireless 4G, so the effects were somewhat mitigated. The difference in harmful effects from acronyms shown on screen is quite substantial. The closer a human being is to the generated frequency in words shown on screen from a tower or router, the more intense the cellular damage and effect on the mental states of being. The effects may be less for smaller devices that produce a less intense frequency, but they are still harmful, especially when a human being uses wireless headphones or earbuds that are right by the brain. We advise going back to wired connections for all devices until the wireless frequencies are changed to a benign frequency. We realize you cannot wire up your mobile phones, So we suggest not using words shown on screen for them and not keeping phones in close proximity to your body when possible, especially when sleeping. One may stop the harmful effects of the frequency produced acronym shown on screen routers from immersing one's living quarters and assaulting their body-mind-spirit complex by contacting their internet company and having them turn off the words shown on screen and only leave on the 2.4 gigahertz wireless signal. One may still use acronyms shown on screen. Are you getting tired of this? I certainly am. This video sharing platform is heavily controlled by negatively oriented human beings. I recommend going to watch it without this censorship for free on Rumble or go buy the book. For wired devices, as it is only the wireless signal that produces the harmful frequencies. It may only take seconds to minutes to contact the company and have them turn off your words shown on screen. Be sure to look in the appropriate place on your mobile phone when connected to your router's Wi-Fi signal to check and verify that it is connecting to a 2.4 gigahertz signal and not a word shown on screen. Does give one faster download/upload speeds over 2.4 gigahertz, but when the consequences are dire on a mind-body-spirit complex, it is not worth the continuous harm and damage. There are benign wireless frequencies that can be used that produce the same or faster download/upload speeds as words shown on screen. But as we stated, they are not used on purpose. To continue to use acronyms shown on screen for fast internet usage on your computer or laptop, use a direct cable from the router to the device. A direct cable connection is faster, more secure, and saves your body-mind-spirit complex from being harmed. Frequencies can be beneficial, innocuous, or harmful to a being. Human beings' music was produced at different frequencies, including the beneficial 432 Hz frequency, before there was a set standard. With the influence of fourth density negative beings, the set standard frequency used for music became 440 Hz instead of 432 Hz. The typical frequency used for music production still has not altered from the 440 Hz frequency it was changed to, which typically increases a being's heart rate and blood pressure. Although 440 Hz is unhealthy, one's emotional upliftment from enjoying their music typically supersedes the harmful effects of the 440 Hz frequency, and the overall experience may be beneficial for the human being. However, it would be beneficial for human beings to change the standard of music production to the beneficial frequency of 432 Hz. Healthy and cultivating frequencies produce geometric shapes. Since the cosmos is made out of vibrating love and light, the cosmos is also made out of the geometric shapes that the vibration from love and light energy produce. Human beings have used what is called cymatics to view the visually pleasing geometric shapes that are created from the healthy vibrations that certain frequencies produce. Sand is placed on a metal plate, and when the metal vibrates due to healthy and cultivating frequencies, visually pleasing geometric shapes are created and seen in the sand. Those that tout 440 Hz is no different than 430 Hz will be shown the clear evidence when utilizing cymatics. The frequencies that have been called solfeggio frequencies are some of these beneficial/healthy frequencies. Since frequency has a major impact on physical matter, these frequencies are very beneficial to the mind-body-spirit complex and can be used for healing or meditative purposes. These frequencies can also be used on water to structure water and so make it healthier for the mind-body-spirit complex. We note that it would also be most beneficial to remove fluoride and other toxins from your water supply. Frequencies that resonate with certain chakras can assist at removing blockages in those chakras. Negatively oriented human beings, never missing an opportunity to turn knowledge and advancement into a weapon, have used frequency applications against the majority. They have used devices that create a harmful frequency to disperse protesters in a crowd. They have used frequencies that resonate with a human being's brain to transmit sound or voice that only the particular human being can hear. The use of voices being spoken inside a particular human being's brain due to this resonance has been called the voice of God. These are only two examples of how the negatively oriented human beings have weaponized frequencies. Since all in the cosmos is made from sources intelligently conscious love and light energy that is constantly vibrating, the applications for utilizing frequencies that produce vibrations are endless. The wanderer known as Nikola Tesla became aware of this reality and utilized this knowledge to emit many applications that were much more advanced than what others were creating at the time. Nikola Tesla said, "If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration." This statement is precisely accurate. This course is presented in video format for free to overcome book shadow banning and make its existence known. Now that you know it exists, it's recommended to proceed how this course is intended to be absorbed by book. The title of the book is The Cosmic Experience of One, an Awareness Expanding Course for Human Beings. The information in this course is more effective and appropriate to be read in book form where one can pause and ruminate and meditate on the material as they read. Besides the low audio quality in the videos and the protection from targeted spoken words and censorship, the book is a much better way to understand and learn the material. The book contains two more subjects, 104.2 and 104.3, which is my way of thanking those who show their appreciation to my aiding services by purchasing the book. Since we currently live in a broken monetary system, without your show of monetary appreciation for my services, I can't get by and continue to perform service to others acts by writing more meaningful books. Purchasing the book not only shows your appreciation for my services and allows me to live in this monetary system, but the course's material will be easily accessible for your revisiting. To more fully absorb the material, it's recommended to read the book at least twice. You will understand why on your second reading. You can gain positive polarity by doing your part in sharing this awareness expanding course with others. Raising the collective's vibration is a team effort. We cannot do this alone. Your participation is required. Liking and subscribing are also actions that make this course seen by more human beings. A negatively oriented being learns information and keeps it to themselves so they can selfishly benefit over others. A positively oriented being learns information and wants others to benefit from it as well because they care. and they know that aiding others also aids themselves. This is true in more ways than one. As a being gains positive polarity for aiding others, and they benefit again when another's vibration is raised because it raises the whole collective's vibration, which assists all, including the first being who shared. All are connected, all are one. Comments and questions will be read, but I will not reply with comments, nor like comments, nor heart comments, nor interact in the comments section in any way. If comments or questions are found to warrant a reply, the reply will be made in a possible future video. If an account using the same or similar profile picture, channel name, or my author name interacts in any of the ways listed above or other ways, know that it's not me and is a human tool working for the negatively oriented human beings to capture and twist the information in this course or your perception, or smear the messenger. Likewise, human tools may create fake accounts on this platform or others in the same attempt to capture and twist its course's information. Official sources for me are listed in the description field below. Everything else is fake.